Hello everyone, Joel here, and today I'm going to be doing a short video in the NGX here. Today we're going to be going from um, Phoenix, Arizona here down to San Diego. It should be a quick and short flight, and should be a fun flight as well. So if you guys are interested, then sit back and relax, and we'll get right into the flight. So we'll hop into the flight deck here, and the first thing we need to do is make sure the parking brake is set, and we also need to make sure that we grab our departing METAR, our arriving METAR, and make sure that our flight plan is good and created. We can actually go ahead and grab our flight plan. Let me just pull it up real quick, and I'll tell you what it is. KPHX to KSAN. I'm just pulling up the PFPX plan on my other screen here. Just give me one moment. Okay, so I have our flight plan ready to go. And so we can actually go ahead and flick on the battery now. Flick it on like that. We can actually put the guard over like so. Alright, the battery's on. We need to make sure that the left one is selected to battery, which it is, and we need to make sure the right one here is selected to standby power, like so. Okay. Now we need to disengage the master caution, which has appeared, like so, and make sure that all the hydraulic pumps are off. All the fuel pumps need to be off as well, as so. And as for the interior lights, we don't need any of the interior lights. Cabin utility power, those are on, which are right here. And the IFE passy cover is, let's see, good to go. Okay. We can make sure the emergency lights are armed. So, and they're going to come on for now. Alright, we can go down to the FMC here, the flight management computer, and we can establish ground connections by just putting those on like so. The pitot covers can stay removed. And so now we have simple power to the aircraft, which means we can actually go ahead and flick on ground power. Like so. And we get displays popped up. Simple displays. Like so. And I'm going to adjust the volume just a tad here. Let's see. Okay. And so we have that out of the way. We can actually go ahead and make sure that the position lights are on steady, which they are. Wheel well needs to go on. Logo lights need to go on. It's actually daytime, so we don't need to worry about that. And the wing lights need to go on as well. Alright. We need to make sure the seat belt is on, so let's flick these to auto. And we'll attend that. Alright, so down to the FMC here. Our payload is already loaded. So that includes our fuel and our cargo and our passengers, so we don't need to worry about those. The recirculating fans need to go on auto, like so, and the packs can go on. Autopilots, all that needs to be off, everything is off. Speed brake is off. We can test our warning horns, or warning systems. Get the green light. Okay. That's our altitude horn. Okay, so that's all good to go. We can actually go and align our IRS now, which is up here. So we can actually put these on a line like so. Make sure that all the lights work. And now that they're aligned, we can flick them over to nav like so. and we can go down to the FMC and post our IRS position. We do that by going to the next page and copying our GPS left position like so, and just popping it in like so, like right there. We can actually go ahead and put in our reference airport as well, which is Kilo Papa Hotel X-Ray. And our nav data is 1 month out of date, so it isn't too big of a deal or whatever. I'll get that situated later on whenever I have the chance to do that. But as for our route, it's from Kilo Papa Hotel X-Ray to Kilo Sierra Alpha November, or San Diego. Our flight number is SWA1026. This isn't a real flight. And we can actually go ahead and put in our route here. Our departure SID, let me pull that up real quick. So, our departure SID is the Judith 4. Go down here, actually Judith 3, since it's a little bit outdated. And we're taking off of runway... let's see, let me pull up the flight plan. My apologies. Let that load. Oh, crap. Anyway, we'll let that load real quick. But our transition is Mohac. So, as for our route, departure. Alright, yeah, and the IRS is aligned, so that's good. But our departure is the Judas 3 with the Mohac transition. And for the flight plan here, pull that up. It's still loading. Alright, so we have that pulled up. I'll go ahead and tell you the plan here. We're taking off runway 26. So we have that in. And so from Mohac, we're going to... Let's see. No, we're not going to Mohac. Let's actually, we need to delete this. So. And so it's the Judas 3 here. 26. So, and so from Judith, we're taking the Juliet 2. So, Juliet 2. Down to IPL VOR. Okay, and then from IPL, we're actually transitioning into the Star, which is the Lindy 4. There's IPL transition, and we're using the localizer 27 approach. Transition will be Lindy. Alright, and so that's in. We can actually go ahead and put this into plan mode. Pull that up. We can actually test it out and make sure that everything is a go. So, step through all this. And boom, all the way down to the runway. So everything's good to go. With that in place, we can actually go ahead and activate the route like so and go to our performance. We're carrying 1.1 thousand pounds of reserves. 1.1 reserves. 133.7 is our actually zero. It's our actual zero fuel weight. Cost index. We use 85 because we're not going too far. And our flight level altitude is flight level 350, I believe. Let's see. I'll check the plan here. Flight level 340. we can execute that. And we won't be using any D-ready takeoff today, full thrust. And we'll be using flaps 5. We've got plenty of runway here in Phoenix because it can handle all the way up to a 747. And then we have our V speeds here. We have a V2 speed of 146, which means we can actually go to our airspeed bug and put in 146, like so. And we can actually get our center of gravity, so our trim needs to be at 4.84. Like so. And we can actually take this out of plan mode now. And that's all good to go. And so we can actually open up our checklist again here. And with that out of the way, we can go up to the overhead here. And so APU bleed and engine bleeds need to be on. We need to allocate a left pump here for our APU, which we're going to start up. And we need to get, let's see, so, alright, just going through all the checklist here. Trim is set, gangway is removed, doors are closed. We need to put the gen bus transfer switch on auto. That's good to go. Just going through anything else we need to do. We're all good to go. So we can actually go ahead and wait for the APU to boot up here. And then we'll be ready to push back. And before we push back, I can go ahead and get the TCAS up and running.
TCAS test passed.
Alright, TCAS test has passed. And we can also set up our MCP here for takeoff. So flight directors go on, VNAV and LNAV be armed. And that concludes that. Our climb altitude, we'll put that all the way up to 340 because we're not getting any ATC altitude restrictions. So, and that's all set to go. So we go ahead and request pushback, and we'll use the FMC here for pushback clearance. So we need to actually, before we do that, we need to make sure that the we have our power switched over to the APU, like so. And that means we can actually disconnect our ground power, like so. And so with that removed, we need to also make sure that we also get our pushback clearance. So we'll push back around 50 feet. And we need to push the nose to the left. $90. So I think it's 90 degrees. I don't have yeah, okay, yeah, I don't have GSX, so I'm just gonna have to kind of eyeball it here or whatever, but that's pretty good. We can request pushback.
And ground cockpit.
Make sure that's armed.
Go ahead, Captain. We're all set to go up here. We've been cleared to push and start at your discretion.
Pardon the minute, ready for push. Power and air are clear, doors closed. We are ready for pushback. Release parking brake, please.
Alright, parking brakes are released.
Okay, parking brake is off. Cleared to push.
Brakes off, here we go.
Alright, so we're being pushed back, which means we can go ahead and put the right ignition, put that one to grid power, and make sure the packs are off. And wait for this to get to 20%. Alright, 20%, we can release that, and the right engine will go ahead and start spinning up. second one to grid power. At this point, we can allocate all of the pumps and all of the hydraulics. Alright, we can cut push back now. Kind of overdid it a little bit. Alright, 20%, we can use this one. Probe heat can go on. Window heat can go on. Yaw damper can go on. And that should conclude that. Alright, so we'll scroll down a tad bit here and I need to check one thing and make sure that our battery is set correctly, because if we don't set the battery correctly, then we'll discharge it in flight. That's a pain. That's a pain in the behind to deal with. So we'll make sure we go through everything, double check. Okay, so okay, APU and the left one here, okay, I should conclude that. So, packs can go back on, and the generators can go on. So, the APU is off. You can disable the APU. So that can actually be switched back over to generator, like so. I'm trying to go through the checklist and make sure that okay, so push back. So AC voltometer is on Gen 1, like so. APU is off. APU bleed is off, like so. Engine bleed state on. The packs are back on. Probe heat's on. Window heat is on. Engine anti-ice is required. Wing anti-ice is required. Yaw dampers on. Flaps are set to 5. So, alright. Flaps are set to 5. Auto brake needs to be set to RTO. And pushback is done. Taxi lights go on. Runway turn-off lights go on. Wheel well lights go off. Alright, that's all good to go. As for our DC voltometer, I'm not sure what we're going to do with the DC voltometer. I believe that stays on battery. Yeah, it's going to stay on battery, and then the AC voltometer is going to keep it powered from the generators. Awesome. I always screwed that up and I would get the black screens, and that would be one pain to deal with. So, parking brakes can go off like so, and we can actually go ahead and start taxiing out. So just a little bit of throttle is required for the PMDG NGX, because they did get rid of the bug where the aircraft have a lot of friction with the ground. Alright. We're turning now and make sure we're nice and careful with our speed. We don't want to over taxi. I mean, we are flying for Southwest, of course, but even then we still don't want to over taxi. Southwest does have a lot of military pilots, and they are pretty fast whenever they do a lot of taxiing. And our speed's going up. We want to stay up about 20. Don't want to go any faster than 20. Right. Light tap of the brake. And down the taxiway we go. We'll take another left here and head down the runway taxiway. And we can actually go ahead and go down to our taxi checklist. Our MCP is already set from earlier, so we're already ahead of schedule on that. But before we take off and we're holding, then there's a little bit of a checklist to do there. So we'll take care of that when the time comes. Alright, 10 knots and turning. We have to remember that the wheels behind us, we taxi just a tad ahead. And we don't need the entire runway, so we can actually taxi off in just a minute. Beautiful scenery from Flight Beam, and I highly recommend going and picking up a copy of it if you can. The weather is provided by Active Sky today. Which still reminds me I need to test the weather radar in a minute. We'll do that in our holding pattern, or hold position. Excuse me. Excuse me again. My apologies. Alright, so we can actually go ahead and turn here. I am a little bit sick. We just tap the brakes. And we'll hold here. And with holding, we just go ahead and set our parking brake like so, and we can actually obtain our METAR information by putting it to 122.0.
Kilo Papa Hotel X-Ray Airport Information Golf 0051 Zulu Weather Wind 191 at 5 Visibility 10 Sky Condition Few clouds at 10,000 Few clouds at 2,000 3,000 Scattered Temperature 39er Dew point 12 Altimeter 29er Advise on initial contact. You have information Golf Kilo Papa Hotel X-Ray Airport Information Golf 0051 Zulu.
Alright, so we have that done, and it's going to be a great day for takeoff today. 2974, that's really, really good for aircraft performance. And so we can actually go ahead and test the weather radar as well. So we just arm it like so, and we test it with our little weather.
Radar display. Go around. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
And so our weather radar is working as it should. I don't believe there's any weather in the vicinity here. It looks like a pretty nice day. So by that means I'm going to go ahead and disable it for now. But it does work whatsoever. We might need a little bit in San Diego. The weather has been a tad bit bad out there with one of the tropical storms, but nothing that should be concerning. So as for the hold pattern, or the hold position checklist, we need to make sure the landing lights are on, like so. Thrust levers are on takeoff setting once we get on the runway. And that should do it. So we can actually go ahead and release the parking brake and taxi out. Yeah, we got plenty of runway room here. This is the large runway. Alright, so auto throttle can be... Alright, let me brake real quick. Alright, so Auto throttle's armed, and we set toga like so. And now it's just a matter of keeping it on the runway nice and steadily. We hold our yoke down. We wait for our V-speed to be called out. Oh, okay. Nice and steady on the controls. Wait for a positive rate, like so, and up the gear goes. We follow that flight director as much as we can. And look at our beautiful Phoenix scenery. Follow that flight director, it's going to take us where we need to go. Absolutely gorgeous scenery, if I do say so myself. Someone got a notification on Skype. So. Alright, I got rid of that. Alright, so now we can go ahead and arm the autopilot, and we can actually turn the gear off like so. And so now the aircraft has control. Now what we need to do is make sure alright, so flaps are on 1 now, gear is up, and we can go through the after takeoff checklist here. So auto brake needs to be off. Spoiler needs to be disarmed, which it is. Okay. Landing lights need to go off at 10,000 feet. Runway turn-off lights need to go off now, and taxi lights need to go off now. Altimeter needs to be readjusted once we hit 18,000 feet, or our transition altitude. We can look out at our nice Phoenix scenery here, provided by yours truly, Orbex FTX Global, OpenLC, North America. Great buy, and I highly recommend. So, we are now departing the Phoenix area, and we need to be 8,000 or below at our next waypoint here, known as Vans. And so, now we can actually go ahead and make sure the gear is up. We need to be under 250 knots. And so we'll set a, well, it should set an automatic, but if it doesn't, then we'll have to speed intervene if it gets too carried away. Alright, so we're turning now, and we see a mountain off to our left. Nice detailed mesh by FS Global 2010. And if there's any other questions you guys have, then leave them in the comments below. I'm still a little bit new to YouTube here, but I do want to say thank you for 33 subscribers. I hope to bring that, raise that up soon. If any of you guys are new, any requests, leave them in the comments below, and I'll take a look at it. If it's pretty reasonable, then I wouldn't see why I wouldn't do it. Anything I can do to please fans. So I believe this is I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the video now, and whenever we get to top of descent, then I'll go ahead and resume the video again. So see you then.